Hey guys, my name is Shay and I am the creator of Stay Focused Box. Today I wanted to share with you my story on how I migrated here in Australia. As a child, I've always dreamt of living in another country and exploring the world around me. A little bit of background about me is I studied Bachelor's of Science in Accountancy in Letran, Manila, and I've also completed my Master's degree in San Beda, also in Manila. I am also a Certified Public Accountant in the Philippines, or what we call CPA. I was working as an accountant, but later on I switched to internal audit, which to be honest, I enjoyed the most. At the same time, while working my full-time job, I am also side hustling hard, really hard. I was working doing freelance job, like doing contractual bookkeeping work. I was teaching in the university on weeknights. I was also working remotely for overseas clients. This at the time before the virtual assistant jobs become really big, or before it is known to almost everyone. I was working in the platform called Elance, which is now Upwork. And I have 4 regular clients that are from either America, Canada, or Australia. Plus, I was also running my eBay shop and my personalization business or my printing business at that time. I think I sleep around 4 hours every night. That was my average hours of sleep. I know this is too much for some people. I was hustling really hard, but hear me out. I actually love this lifestyle. I'm actually enjoying that lifestyle, but that's just me. I love being busy and earning a little bit of extra cash. In that way, it can fund the lifestyle that I want. And this leads me to pursuing a career or life outside the Philippines. It led me to this thinking when I felt like everything that I do was not enough. And at the same time, one of my overseas clients told me exactly these same words. You are very hardworking. If you are in my country, I think you will be rich. That is when I felt like I hit the wall. It reminded me my childhood dream to move and live to another country or find a family or start a family here. I wanted to begin a new life in another country. I want all my hard work to pay off more than just being enough. I did all my research, which 4 countries would let me be in there. The only issue I had, which I'm for sure most of us will relate, is that I didn't have any family to sponsor me. I didn't have any employer. I didn't have any boyfriend or like fiance that could sponsor me to be there. I also don't have any money to avail the student visa. So after all this research, I was left with 2 options. One is to go to Canada or the other is Australia. I didn't end up going to Canada for 2 reasons. Firstly, because I don't have enough money. I can't afford the requirements in terms of having a show money. The second is the airfare cost of going back and forth from Canada to Philippines. That really put me off because I wanted to be able to see my parents regularly. So I think if I go to Canada, it would probably take me another like 3-5 years or 6-8 years, that long before my parents and I would see each other again. So that really put me off to applying to Canada. So my other option was Australia. And they really seem to have an independent life going on around here. And I did a lot of research about it. And I am glad that I actually ended up applying here in Australia. All the feedbacks were very encouraging. I came across several forums. Mostly, I spend most of my time in pinoyau.info. I'm not sure if that still exists, but I'm sure you can Google it and it's called Pinoy AU. Really, really, really good forum to be at if you are applying. And yeah, when I was just researching, I found that most people who were in that same boat as I was, that now they were a citizen or a resident, They really said all this positive feedback, how much the laid back lifestyle that we have in. And you know what really stuck with me the most is I have the better chance of becoming a permanent resident here or an Australian citizen, even on my own without any sponsorship. So I took the bullet and started my journey. This journey took me 3 years from the time I decided to come here until I got my visa approval. I couldn't afford any agencies to help me with my visa application, so I have to go through the path of research, research, and research. Not in one day, I didn't do any research. I spent a lot of time researching. While going to work, I was reading on the forums, people's feedbacks and stuff like that. Even in Facebook groups, at the time, Facebook groups are really not that popular. I would watch all these blogs about their stories of how they migrated to Australia. I would do it several times repeatedly before I go to sleep, on my way to work, while I am having lunch, on my lunch break, any time or any chance that I could get, I researched the fork out of it. And I'm telling you now, it wasn't as an easy process as it may seem. Yes, the application steps and the requirements are fairly straightforward, and I'd be honest, the Australian immigration made it really clear and comprehensive. However, I struggled most with completing the requirements. My first obstacle is getting a score of 8 in my IELTS exam. I know this is high for some, others might only need maybe 7, but Australia works on a points-based system, and at the time when I was applying, I don't have enough work experience, I don't have enough of my age. I think I was only 25 at the time, so I don't have enough points to be able to meet the minimum requirement set by the Australian immigration. That's why I needed to have a high score in my English. Long story short, I failed my IELTS exam. I didn't fail just once, I failed twice, and for the third time, and maybe the fourth time as well. I honestly nearly gave up until Australia started accepting another English test, which is PTE Academic. I was so happy when I found out about it. PTE Academic is a computer-based exam, and you know what's good thing about it is because you can get the results so much quicker. I was really excited about it because I heard a lot of reviews that it is so much easier to get a higher score than the IELTS. So after my first try, I failed. And then another try, I failed again. So I think I failed about 5 or 6 tests in total. It was really embarrassing to admit it at the time. So in that span of maybe 2 years, I failed 6 exams in total. I was really stuck. I cried so hard that I almost gave up. I felt like I was the most stupid person at the time. My mom even told me that maybe Australia is not for me and that I should just stay in the Philippines and pursue and grow my career here. You can imagine how my heart broke into millions of pieces because my mom is actually my #1 fan. And she always believed in me that I can achieve anything that I set my mind to. And to hear her say that, it really hurt me inside. For most part of that night, I cried really hard. I cried to bed, I cried to sleep. But the inner fighter in me refused to give up. And as a matter of fact, for years and years of me applying in my visa, there is this song that I always play every time I am losing hope. It is called The Climb by Miley Cyrus. The lines where it says, "Ain't about how fast I get there, ain't about what's waiting on the other side, it's the climb," that really stuck with me. And even up to this point, every time I am losing hope, I still keep playing that music again. I highly recommend looking up that song, looking up the lyrics of that song, and play that song. That is very powerful and really, really inspirational. So, anyway, I did not give up. And even though I cried to sleep that night, the next day I booked it again. And this time I passed with flying honors. Happy days! So now I have my English exam sorted. I have submitted my VETASES assessment. Now I am ready to apply for my visa application. But I hit another problem though. And this time, the immigration has increased the number of work experience required. At the time, I only have, I think, 4 years and a half. So it means I need to wait for like another 6 months before I can get 5 years work experience before I can submit my application. I really felt shit after that. I felt like all the efforts that I've done in the past was all for nothing. I even ended up applying for a job where my classmate in my master's degree recommended me to because they have a possibility of international travel. And that was actually one of my dream company to work with. But when I got the job offer from them, I came to this realization that if I accept that job offer, that would put me in a different direction of where I wanted to be or where the goal I am trying to achieve. And sometimes that actually happens to us. You have all these distractions coming to you. Sometimes you're so close that sometimes these are distractions becomes more present. It's like really more tempting. But we really just have to remember and really recognize what is something that can move us forward to continue pursuing that dream or let this distraction be on our way of pursuing that dream. So I ended up sucking it up and didn't go and declined my job offer for one of my dream company I wanted to work with. I stayed with my company at the time and it just felt like it's just a waiting game. I needed 3 more months until I gained my 5th year of working experience. So as soon as I hit my 5 years of work experience, I remember that date, that was 4th of November. I submitted my application straight away. I did not waste any time. I went through my applications over and over to make sure I didn't miss anything. I was so over prepared, and when you are in situations like this, it is actually much better to be over prepared than under prepared. 6 weeks later, I received my expression of interest or the EOI from the Australian immigration. Honestly, I felt like I hit lotto already at the time. Seriously, I was super happy. I can't even describe that feeling. And of course, I did not waste any time again. I submitted all the requirements they are asking. I even did my medicals in advance before they even asked me to. I just uploaded anything that they could possibly ask me. I really submitted as much as possible in the hope that they don't have to come back to me and they can just grant me my visa straight away. It was actually Christmas break at the time when I submitted my application, and I even have to cancel my upcoming Palawan trip just because I just want to make sure I have enough money when we have the approval visa. But because it was Christmas break, I know that I won't hear from them and I'd probably hear from them in January. So I was not expecting to receive my grant approval like any sooner because I think some people even gets their visa approval for like 6 months or a year. I was even really lucky to get my EOI for like 6 weeks because some has to wait for like 6 months, a year, or 2 years. So I was really, really grateful that I got mine super early. And New Year come 2016, I remember that date, January 16, 2016. I remember exactly what I am doing. I remember exactly what I was doing just before I opened that golden lotto email. January 16, 2016 is when I got my visa grant. And even up to this point, every time that I remember that time, I still feel like I still get really emotional. All those tears frustrations, everything, the money, everything, they are also worth it. To be honest, I felt like that whole journey of applying has increased my baseline, my dopamine baseline level, that even if I crush, I still have a really high dopamine. And now fast forward to today, I am now an Australian citizen. I am now married to the man of my dream, my beautiful husband, Steven, with our two beautiful dogs, Didi, which is a German Shepherd, and Titan, which is a Pomeranian. Looking back, if someone will ask me if I am willing to go through those same pains and frustrations again, just to get the life that I am or where I am now, I would definitely say yes to it again, no doubts. If you reached the end of this video, I hope my story has inspired you to keep pursuing whatever goal you have, whatever it is that you are trying to pursue. Remember, we can always achieve whatever we set our mind to. I know you got this. If I did it, I'm sure you will as well. Thank you for watching the video. Bye!